You ready to have some fun?
Yes.
All right. So if you will, please introduce yourself.
My name is Andrea, and I am a parent that came to Teen Driving Solutions to help my child be safer on the roads.
Love it. Love it. And you're originally from?
Originally from England and came over here when I was 20.
Gotcha. I guess you got your license in England.
I did.
And so what was driving like in England? What was like their culture of driving?
Completely different. It's not a right, it's a privilege. And because there's so much public transport, you don't actually need a vehicle. So in order to get your vehicle, you have to be able to drive. I was shocked when I came over here that I could take my test in an automatic and I could legally drive a manual. Like, if you take your test, and there's not as many automatics over there, but if you take your test in automatic, you cannot legally drive a stick shift.
Interesting. Yeah.
But when I came over, I went to get my American license, so I was all legal and legit. And when I went to the license office, the guy was like, "Oh, do you have a British license?" And I was like, "Yeah, here it is." And he's like, "Well, let's just go to the coffee shop." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "There is no point me doing a test with you if you pass the test over there," because his friend was a British driving license.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "You're gonna laugh." And so, we drove to the coffee shop. Obviously, I had tea. And we drove back to the license office. Boom, Bob's your uncle, there's my license.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's it?" And he's like, "Actually, what you did there is more than we would have done in the test." And then, so I had a son, he's coming up. I'm like, "All right, driver's ed."
Yeah.
We go through driver's ed, and I'm like, "What did you do?" And he told me, and it was pathetic at best. No driving on the interstate, no parallel parking. They didn't even do an emergency stop. And I'm like, "So what did you learn?" And he's like, "The rules of the road." I'm like, "Okay, so that's something." And then now I'm going to be on the road with you. I'm not trained. I didn't even grow up driving over here, and didn't do a test. So I'm like, "Okay, what can I do? What can I do to help you be safe?" Because there is so much distracted driving, and people are reckless with their vehicles over here. It's a very different culture because they think it's a right.
Yeah.
And there's people driving vehicles that they have no idea how big they are.
Yeah.
Like, in the area we live is quite affluent, and so there's a lot of like Yukon Denali's, but the people driving them don't know that that's half a bus.
Yeah.
And just cut across traffic, and so I'm like, I needed to find something to keep him safe.
Yeah.
On the road. And so I put him through this program when he first got his permit. And a week after we had been through the program, we were driving on a country road. He was in my old truck, so she doesn't have the best safety systems. She's just an old truck. And there was oncoming traffic and someone overtaking on a blind bend on a country road, probably doing about 55, 60. So he had maybe 20 yards to make a decision. He dropped both tires off the road, ran it along the grass, popped back on, and he literally said, "That's what I learned in class." There's exact replica of one of the exercises he'd done here. And he didn't even miss a beat. Had he not known that, he would have been in a head-on collision at 55.
Well, that was their speed, not yours. So you increase it too.
Yeah. So
amazing.
It would have been horrendous, and we had snow this year.
Right.
And so he was driving his little Mini. And
a proper car.
But he was able to navigate slides and stuff.
Yeah.
We've intentionally done hydroplane.
Good.
And for me, the program afforded me the language to be able to communicate with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had no idea how to explain to him, like coming into a turn that you can't see. I couldn't explain to him how I know I need to slow down.
Right, because there's a parent component to this school too, right?
Right.
Yep.
And so, going through that component allowed me to get the language to communicate with him. Okay, you're using more tarmac than you're making visually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
There it is. And establishing, commands from the passenger seat that, hey, if I say brake,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean? Okay, that means I just need you to slow the car down. If I say brake, 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 I need you to stop.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
And, I hadn't considered that. Like, I didn't think about making those distinctions to him before we got on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So that, fortunately, I haven't had to say that because he already had the skills from here that he's looking ahead on the road, he's reading the road. It's just the way he drives after being here was completely different to how he was driving. He got an education and an understanding of how to read the road.
Well, that's a relief from a parent.
Yeah.
With so much going on, we see it, and especially growing up in the States, I'm part of the problem because I learned through the system. Right. And so if I'm going to be teaching my child about driving and I've already got the bad foundation, it doesn't go anywhere. So without advancing your driving, going to schools like this, you're missing a big piece of the puzzle.
Well, knowing how to communicate that to them, nobody taught me how to teach him how to drive. Mm-hmm. And the assumption through the system is that, driver's ed, well, they already told us in their own words that it teaches them rules of the road and it cannot be expected to make them safe drivers. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, well, that's covering your behind because you're saying you're not giving them enough education to make them safe.
Yeah.
And then you're putting it in my hands to do that. And I have no education about how to communicate to that child how to drive safely. Mm-hmm. And I already have all my bad habits, with my arm out the window. And, so now we have both been educated, and mm-hmm. I'm definitely a better driver from coming through, and I'm putting him back through before he goes out with a provisional and he's on his own.
Yeah.
And
so why did you decide on having him come back that second time?
Because he learned so much the first time that I knew that it's not just a refresher, he's learned more on the second time through. It's like an additional layer. Okay, the first time he learned how to be confident in those situations, but now he's learned a more advanced set of skills on top of that. So mm-hmm. now he can go through the skid pad at a higher speed, which replicates you're on the interstate and you hit a puddle. Yeah. So it's just added depth to his knowledge.
Yeah. What would you say to parents that might be considering this?
Send them now. I tell all of my friends, I'm like, we have one friend that she is a very anxious driver as the parent, and she's going to be the one sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm like, you're doing your child a disservice if you don't send them through this program. And actually, Thomas is offered to pay for that other child to come through because he's so adamant mm-hmm. that you shouldn't be a teen driver on the road without going through a program like this. I mean, he really, his awareness of what can happen.
Yeah.
And he reads the road ahead and he'll point to a car and he'll be like, that car's been, erratically braking and is swerving.
Yeah. I
don't want to be near them. I'm mm-hmm. going to move over. I'm like, some adults don't see that.
My son points those things out. Mm-hmm. He loves to drive. He gets it from me. And he went through the program as well because as much as I can teach him, I'm his dad.
Right.
And even though I'm pretty good at driving, I'm still the dad.
You don't know anything.
And there's a lot. When he's about 22 or 23, I'll become a genius.
Right.
Because everything I'll say will have come true by that point. But at this point, when we're driving, he's pointing those things out, and he's like, boom, boom. I'm like, yep, perfect. Yeah. Your eyes are where they need to be.
I think that's what having the parents and the teens both go through this education. You know, now he can ask a question and I can actually answer it. Mm-hmm. And I can answer it the right way, not just the way I learned to answer it.
Yeah. So this is perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, Andy.
You're welcome.
You're helping people.
Well, I tell everybody about it. Everyone,
I do too.
The bank teller has a teenager. I'm like, we'd send them through teen.
I know my dentist, he sent all 3 of his kids. Yeah.
Like,
I get it.
You know, this needs to be the standard, not the exception.
Completely true. Because it needs to shift. You can't make safe enough cars for the bad habits we've got. Yeah. And it's gotten worse. Like in the last 5 years.
Well, and I think the safety is, it's kind of like spell check. Find a child now that can spell. Yeah. You won't.
That's funny you say that. Yeah.
They're reliant on spell check. Yeah. It was a helpful tool in the beginning to teach you how to spell. Yeah. Now it's become a dependency.
Yeah, that's a really great analogy. I'm going to use that.
No, we're
because I talk about autonomous driving, as we did yesterday. You have the lane centering. Well, now what can I do?
Right, they have, and the cell phone thing is huge. Even here, you know, we stop for lunch, and the kids are all.
It's immediate.
I'm like, this is probably the most time they've been off their phone.
It really has been, yeah. Because when they're in the cars on track, you know, they can't be on the phones either because they have to learn this stuff. So hopefully that'll stick too. Yeah. Yeah. Well, great. Thank you very much.